All right, guys, we've got some more goodies in the shop here. Let's take a look at what we got. All right, guys, so here's the deal. ArcCaptain reached out to me again. They said there was another machine they'd like me to review, but the difference in this machine versus the others is you guys are going to have a chance to win this welder if we hit 10K. So the goal is we're going to try to hit 10K as fast as possible, and there's going to be some criteria you're going to have to meet in order to get yourself entered to win this machine. So I haven't opened this machine yet. ArcCaptain did send me something else with this machine, and it turns out that they have heard some of our cries, and they did send me a new stinger. So we're going to go ahead and try this electrode holder out and see how it is. I can tell you right now that it's leaps and bounds higher quality than the ones that usually come with the machine. So we're going to go ahead and put this on the lead on this machine and test it out. All right, so the machine we're going to review today is the ArcCaptain ARC 205 Pro. This machine is capable of welding with stick and lift arc TIG. We're going to test out both of those functions as well as the functions on the machine. Oh, look at that. They sent me some rod to try out. Okay, so we've got our stinger that comes with the machine. Like I said, we're going to swap that out. We're going to try this new stinger that they sent us. We've got our adapter on here for 110. This machine does run 220 or 110. We got our brush. We got a strap. Got our usual cover. Comes with the machine, which is awesome. I got to make sure to save all this stuff because it's going to one of you guys. And then we got our ground lead here. There is a manual inside with some stickers. I'm not going to open any of this stuff because whoever wins the machine, you're probably going to want it. So I may not even open these. I'll just go ahead and borrow the leads off of another machine that I have so that I'm not screwing up one of your guys' nice new welder. I'm even going to save the plastic. I think to start out, I want to try it on 220. I like testing them out on the higher voltage first, just so then I can get a feel for how smooth the machine really runs. Let's take a look at what kind of rod they sent us here. There were specific rods that they wanted me to try out, so let's see. Let's see what those are. Looks like this is 1/8 inch 6013 rod. So we're going to run some of this, give it a try, see how it goes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this all set up, and then we'll turn it on and give you guys a look. I cannot believe how small this thing is. I mean, this is... goodness. I've honestly read the good book that was the same size as this thing, so it doesn't weigh very much either. It'd be awesome for little mobile jobs. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get this all set up. We'll come back to you when we get it all plugged in. All right, so I just wanted to show you guys how this stinger comes apart. It's a little bit different than the ones here in America. So there's 2 screws there on the bottom, these 2. You're going to pull those, then you're going to slide that off, and then that's going to expose your little set screw holes here so that you can slide your cable in, tighten those down on the cable. Don't forget to slide this up the cable. I usually do every time. So there's a little flat piece of metal in here. I'm pretty sure the purpose of this is you slide that in, and then you slide your cable in, and then you tighten your set screws down, and then it sandwiches the cable between the housing of the stinger, or at least that's what we're going to try. Okay, now we're going to put our screws back in that hold our plastic handle on. Okay, now we're talking. All right, it does come with an Allen key to tighten those set screws down. That's pretty cool. That's actually the first stinger I've ever put on that comes with an Allen key. All right, I'm gonna go grab a couple pieces of scrap and we'll go ahead and try this out. Okay, so I apologize to whoever wins the machine, but I am gonna have to pull the sticker off. So satisfying. All right, so let's go ahead and power it up and see what the menu looks like. Crazy. So it's currently set on 163 for some reason. We're gonna go down. The modes. Okay, so there's stick, and it actually says 1/16. Lift arc TIG, stick. We're gonna go ahead and try it in normal stick mode. I'm gonna go ahead and run 7018 first because that's God's gift to the stick welding world. And I'm gonna run it at 120 amps. There's the 3 modes there. Your amperage is adjusted on the dial here. We're gonna run some 1/8" 7018. Here we go. All right, so I'm actually kind of excited to use my pancake hood because I got a new lens for it, because the lens that came with it lasted maybe a year and then it bit the dust. So I ordered a Miller Shade 11 lens, and I've tested it out one time, but never really a good test. So I'm kind of excited to see how this runs. Okay, so this is just Hobart rod, 1/8" 7018. Fire in the hole. All right, I'm gonna hit this with a wire wheel and we'll show you what we got. So I actually feel like the fan on this one is a little bit quieter, which is nice. Hopefully you can see that. Turned out good. Ran pretty smooth. I'm gonna run another one. I want to run another 7018 here. And I'm going to set this up a little different. The stinger is a little different than what I'm used to. Normally the jaws have a horizontal line out towards the end, and that's usually where I like to set it up, and then I might bend it over just a little bit just to get the angle that I'm comfortable with. Everybody's different, but that's just me. There is a horizontal line on it, it's just further down the jaws. So I'm actually going to try that this time, and I am going to bend it just a little bit. I kind of like a downward angle on it just a little bit. I feel like it's a little bit easier for me to control. I'm gonna grab my stool and I'm actually gonna get really comfortable, and I'm gonna run this one just as comfortable as I can be, and we'll run this one and see how this one goes. It's actually running really smooth. As this rod shortens up, I'm kind of having to manipulate the angle on it, which is good. It's good practice. It's normal that you would end up in situations like this out in the field. rods, the 7018. That ran really well. Pretty impressed by that. So now we're ready to try a different rod. Let's try some of this 6013. Little disclaimer here. I've actually never ran 6013 before, so this should be interesting. Y'all ready for this? Whew. This is one to write home about. Okay, so you can see right there at the start over here where I had a heck of a time getting the puddle to flow behind the rod. And then you can see I finally kind of started to get it figured out right here, but that's still terrible. I'm just going to dive right into some 6010. I want to grab some 6010 and just see what it'll do. So on the other side of this, I'm going to run some 6010. And little disclaimer here, I'm almost positive that was the rod, not the machine. It was the rod slash the welder, not the welder. So it was the guy welding. I do know 6010, so I want to see what this does. I'm running 332 6010, so I'm going to turn this down to 90 amps and let's see what she does. So it's all tacked up. Let's go ahead and see if it'll run it. Our welder's set at 90 amps. We're running 6010. Let's see if it'll do it. Okay, I think that says enough. So it's not digging the 6010. You can run 6011. I'll pull out some 6011 and we'll see how it runs. So here's some 1/8 inch 6011. I'm gonna bump this up to 120 amps. I don't think this is gonna have a problem running 6011, but it's not digging the 6010. So let's see how 6011 runs. 1/8 inch 6011, 120 amps. Okay, runs 6011 really well. Just want to be aware of that. All right, guys. It's time to test out the TIG on this bad boy. I've got my Furic consumables hooked up here. I'm running a number 8 Pro cup, just a ceramic cup. I do have a 332 tungsten in there and a gas lens. I'm running the short back cap, and this TIG torch has the manual valve on it. So if you've never seen these, there's a little knob on the back here. If I turn that on, I just crack that valve open and you can hear that it's running. A lot of guys on pipeline use these. It's this style of rig. They run it off their engine drive, but it's this style of torch. So you just open up your gas and then you weld, and when you're done, turn that off. So it's just a manual valve instead of having the solenoid valve in the machine. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and set this on TIG mode. So it's lift arc TIG mode. And then I'm going to go up to, let's put it on 120 amps and see how that does. All right, so I got some 332 ER70S6 rod here. We're going to go ahead and try to run a bead on this. This is just another coupon I have, T-joint. And I tried running some 6010 on the one side of it, but we're gonna run TIG on this side of it. So let's give it a try. All right, so it's got a pretty crisp start on the lift arc. can tell you we're not near hot enough. So I'm going to go ahead and crank this up. I'm going to go up to 150 amps. So the top end on 240 is 205 volts. And I'm going to go to 150 and see how that runs. Better, but we're still running a little cold. So I'm going to go ahead, turn that up to 175 amps, and I'm going to flip my tungsten over because that's one of the things with lift arc and scratch start. You do go through tungsten a lot quicker because you're having to touch the tungsten to the material, and when it arcs it usually blasts the sharp point off of there. It's just how it goes. It comes with the territory. So let's go ahead and give 175 amps a try. Oh yeah, it's feeling a lot better. Arc's good and smooth. I'm running my argon at about 18 CFH. Woo! You'll be able to see how it looks a little cold. Well, that was from when I had the amperage turned down further than I should have. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this with a wire wheel here. Okay, so there's what the TIG function can do. You can see right there on that end, it started out cold. It's kind of humped up. Looks a lot better on this end. Okay, pretty happy there. TIG function works well. I will say that this TIG torch is definitely an upgrade, I think. It's a lot more flexible. One of the complaints that I did have about the last torch is just really stiff, and that kind of makes it hard to do some of the work. So where this is a lot more flexible, it's not uncomfortable to throw over your shoulder. You can do that and weld and still be comfortable. And the fact that they have this set up so you've got your red hose here that goes into your argon bottle, makes the connection there, and then it's just a DINS connector that goes into your machine. So it goes from the bottle and then through the rest to here, and that's where your valve is. So the valve seems to work good. It is shutting off all the way, so no issues there. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I am going to link up to this with my phone, and we need to just go over some of the scenarios on when that would be convenient. How is the Bluetooth function on this convenient? It's honestly kind of amazing to me that some of the other machines don't have that on there yet. I'm sure it's probably coming, but it's kind of cool that ArcCaptain has that function and that you're able to adjust it from your phone. So let's go over some of the scenarios where that might come in handy. All right, guys, so we're going to go through some scenarios where you would want to use Bluetooth with your ArcCaptain machine. So first thing I think we should do is let's go ahead and show you how we hook up on the app. Okay, so here's my phone. If I go ahead and hit the ArcCaptain app, it does a little countdown there. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. And then it looks like it's automatically found my ARC 205 Pro. So now the thing I can do is I can click on that. Oh, I lied. See, now that this is blue and it says on, I just touched that and it said connecting. So now it's connected, and you can see it's set to 120 amps. So if I hit that, we're set to, you can switch your modes right here. Obviously we're going to leave it on stick mode because that's what mode we'd be welding in this situation. Okay, so I clicked on that and said confirm, and now it shows my settings here. These are all the things I can adjust: my welding current, welding rod diameter, base material thickness, hot start, arc force, and VDR. What is VDR? I'll have to read what VDR is. But anyway, that's pretty cool. You can adjust all that from your phone. So we'll go ahead and show you guys some situations now where it would be handy to use your Bluetooth from your phone hooked to your welder. Let's say I'm welding some structural steel here. Okay, so I'm welding, and I decide, you know what, I want 5 more amps. I'm going to get my phone out of my pocket without dropping it. Pull this up. So I'm going to select weld current, and I'm going to go from 120 to 125. So Bridger's going to grab the camera. He's going to show you guys on the machine how it works when I adjust it. All right, so here we go. We're going to go from 120, to 125. Did it work?
Yeah, it was instant.
Instant. That's pretty cool. So if I wanted to go up to 135, there's 135. And there's a plus or minus button, so I can go down in increments of 1 if I want, or I can click and drag the bar. So we'll go to 130 right there. Now if I go through and I change my base material thickness, it will actually jump the amperage up. So just for fun, let's go up to 0.25. It just jumped up an amp, didn't it?
Yeah.
See, and if I go 0.26, now it's up at 136 amps. So it tells you all this on your phone. That's pretty cool. So we'll go back down to 130. All right. And then I can adjust my hot start, my arc force, and VDR. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so I go ahead and adjust that. So welding on a ladder, that's one of those situations where it would be handy to be able to communicate with your welder with Bluetooth, not having to climb up and down the ladder to adjust your amperage. You can just stay on the ladder, pull your phone out, adjust it, put it back in your pocket, keep welding. Time is money. So that's one instance where it would be pretty dang handy. All right, guys, so here's another situation where it would be really nice to be able to remotely adjust your machine. If you're crawled up under a truck or a trailer and you're welding on it and you decide you want to change the amperage or your hot start or whatever it may be, it would be really nice to just be able to do that without having to climb out from under the truck or trailer that you're working on. So if I'm sitting here welding on the gas tank, so let's say I'm up underneath this truck and I'm welding with some 6011, and I decide, you know what, I'm blowing through, I need to cool it off just a little bit. I'm going to pull my phone out of my pocket. Okay, so I got my phone out. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn the amperage down. Let's say I'm welding with some 332 and I'm running it at 90 amps. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and turn that down. I'm burning through, so I'm going to turn it down to 80 amps. 80 amps right there. Grab my stinger, go right back to welding. I don't have to climb out from under the truck or the trailer or whatever it is I'm working on. It is pretty stinking handy. So there's a lot of reasons that this could come in handy. And if you're somebody who's thinking about buying an ArcCaptain because you want to get into welding, or you need something for your garage, you want to start doing some of your own repairs, it really is a cool feature. It's cool to have the convenience to be able to adjust it off of your phone. In a lot of ways it's safer because you're not going up and down a ladder, you're not climbing out from under a truck and back underneath. You're able to just pull your phone out of your pocket and make the adjustment. There's multiple other scenarios where this would come in handy. There's been multiple jobs that I've done on the YouTube channel, multiple episodes where I've been climbed up onto something and I'm welding, or whatever the situation may be. I'm in a tight spot, I'm in a confined space, whatever it may be. For me to be able to make the adjustment instead of having to climb back out, that's a pretty cool feature. All right, guys, so I've done some research on this 6013 rod, and it turns out that it's kind of it's like a 6011. It's a farmer rod. And when I say it's a farmer rod, it's a type of rod that you can run on AC or DCEN, and that's what we're going to try. We're going to try and run a couple coupons with it on DCEN because DCEP does not run good. So we'll go ahead and try this 6013 rod out on DC electronegative and see how it does. So here we go. I'm going to turn it up to 120 amps. Another reason they call it farmer rod is because it's really good at burning through rust, and you don't have to clean it a whole lot. It burns really hot. It's got good penetration. So a lot of farmers use it. So let's go ahead and tack this up and see how it goes. Well, I can already tell you, I think it runs a lot better on DCEN. So I was actually at work at my full-time job, and I've got a friend that's a pipe welder there, and I was asking him about 6013, and he's the one that told me it's meant for AC. And so I did some more research on it, and turns out that a lot of it, I think it depends on the manufacturer of the rod, but from what I understand, you can run it on DC electrode negative, or you run it on AC and it runs a lot better. So we're gonna go ahead and try this at 120 amps on DC electrode negative and see how this goes. Still runs very weird. I can tell you that it's still really hard to control the puddle, but it does run better, leaps and bounds better on electrode negative. So go ahead and chip this slag and see what it looks like. So it's still better, but not great. Usually, you know, like with 7018, I can manipulate the puddle and I can wash it up where I want it, and it behaves. This crap does not behave. So I do think it's the rod, but challenge accepted. I'm gonna see if I can run a decent one on this side. Once I get done, I'll go ahead and show you guys both sides, but I wanna see if I can run a decent pass with this stuff. Now I'm out for blood. I gotta figure this out. So let's see if we can try to get this dialed in to where we can run a decent pass here. So like I said, I'm gonna try to weld this with a little bit steeper angle, and I'm also gonna try to build up my puddle a little bit bigger and see if that helps. And we'll just give it a try. Here we go. Seems like it's working. I could be dead wrong when I chip the slag off. All right, so there's the first pass. You see those craters? It just wasn't washing up. And you can see I did better towards, the end here, but it still wasn't great. So that was the first pass. And then here was the second. So it was better, but I still had a little bit of those craters going on. So I'm gonna grab some more coupons, see if I can't get a solid weld without those craters. That didn't work out. Still having the crater problem. It's like it doesn't want to, the arc either decides to suck down to the bottom plate or it sucks up to the side. So it's really weird stuff. Now I would like to try AC, but I'm not going to be able to try that with this machine because this machine doesn't have an AC mode. So this rod is specifically supposed to be ran with AC. I'm going to ponder on this, see which machine's going to be the easiest to set up, and then we'll come back to you. I just want to see if I can get this stuff to run decent, because I haven't had the greatest luck and it's kind of pissing me off. So we'll come back to you. If this machine can't run it, then it's probably just the operator. And there's just some sort of trick that I don't know because I've never really ran it. But we're gonna try it. Here we go. Well, it is weird. It's weird stick welding on AC. It's freaking weird. Okay, so this is by far the best one I've ran, and I do think I was starting to get it figured out towards the end. There are still some craters in it, but we'll go ahead and show you guys what we got. I think if it was me, I would just burn 6011 because this 6013 is freaking hard to run. And if you're looking to buy this machine, it doesn't even run AC, so I would probably just stay away from 6013 rod and run 6011. So you can see the little bit that I did run okay, looked okay, but then you got those big nasty craters in there. So if I was a farmer and I needed to stick two pieces of metal together, would it work? I'm sure it probably would, but I just don't think I could do it. I would stick to 7018, 6011. Anyway, that's my opinion on the 6013 rod. All right, so for this machine, we've ran our 6013 rod, we've ran 6011 rod, we've ran 6010 rod, which we couldn't get to run right, but we did burn some. We ran TIG, which ran really well. 7018 ran really well. 6011 did run really well. If you stay within the operating limits of this machine, I think you'll be happy with it. So I hope whoever wins this machine, they'll be able to put it to use. They'll be able to learn. They'll be able to improve in their welding skills. That it'll do some good for them. All right, guys, so let's go over the requirements so one of you lucky duffers can win this machine. So here's the requirements. You have to be subscribed to Freedom Fabrication's channel as well as ArcCaptain's YouTube channel. You also have to leave a comment in the comment section with the word ArcCaptain. So make sure you comment ArcCaptain in the comment section. The other thing you have to do is you have to share this video at least once, and that's it. So make sure that you guys follow the criteria so that you're entered to win the machine. I'm going to add some other prizes to this. I don't want to just see one winner, so the welder will come with a welding hood. I'm going to kick that in there, and it's an ArcCaptain welding hood. It's brand new. And I also am going to throw in, you know, maybe a couple hats, shirt, some stickers. So there'll be more than one winner. So get entered to win. I do want to say thank you to the viewers. I appreciate all you guys that watch. I appreciate all the support that we've received, but we just want to tell you we appreciate it. Thank you for always watching. We appreciate all the support we've had. We appreciate all the subscribers, all the comments and likes that we get. We can't wait to see where the channel goes from here. We hope you guys get a little bit of entertainment out of it. We hope you're learning something. Once again, thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Okay, so welding off of a ladder, that's one of those situations where it would really be handy. Goodness. All right, guys, here's another situation where it would be handy to not have to climb out of it. Goodness. All right, so here's another situation for you. Here I am welding underneath a vehicle or underneath a trailer or something like that. If I'm welding under here, it's really a pain to have to crawl out of the... Goodness. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you. Thank you very much.